Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of CroomTalk. Today I'm here with Shane. Today's going to be a little different. I think we're just going to drink a little bit and just kind of vibe out and just kind of discuss where life's at right now and just kind of what's really going on. Because usually a lot of times when we do a podcast, it has like a specific sequence of topics and we try to stick to it just so, the conversation kind of stays the same. But today's going to be a little different. I think we're just going to let the high noons talk and I know who knows.
Yeah, pretty cool, man. Glad to be back. It's interesting because I stopped at the store to grab the high noons, and they had like one of the samplers people there, and so I grabbed a couple of samples of the tequila ones. But I was asking, I'm mad because in the fall, like right before football season, they had the tailgate pack. Did you have that? Oh, with cranberry and pear, and they're gone, man. Like
with the regular ones?
Yeah, I forgot what
the vodka ones?
No, yeah, the vodka ones. Yes.
I don't think I've ever had the cranberry one.
You've had pear, and they were in the same pack.
Okay,
I've had them with you.
Pear is top. I mean, passion fruit's probably my favorite.
I don't know, but I wasn't happy to hear that. I'm just sick of every time I find a drink, it's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, dude, life is crazy.
Yeah, it seems to be that way a lot. Like, because I had the vodka Red Bull kick, and then I had to kick that literally, and then high noons kind of just came out of nowhere. I put you on the high noons, I think.
You did. Yep.
And then I feel high noons kind of just held it down. They were kind of loyal. They were very loyal. And then tequila ones came around, which I wasn't necessarily a fan of. Did you like them, or you just like the strawberry one?
The strawberry one is like out of this world. But actually, never had any of the other ones.
Yeah.
I had the strawberry one, really liked it, and then I don't remember what happened. I think I switched over to the vodka ones.
I just think the vodka ones don't taste like alcohol,
no,
at all. Like,
I agree.
So my thought process with the tequila ones, I'm on the struggle bus open in this case. My thought process with the tequila ones was they didn't taste like tequila, because the vodka ones don't taste like vodka. So I'm like, if I can get tequila drunk without tasting tequila, that's a win.
Right.
But the end taste is a little bit of tequila, and I don't like Blanco tequila a lot, so it was a little turn-offy.
Yeah.
I mean, if the percentage was higher too, I think I would drink them. Like, same with these. These are what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, but
4 or 5. But I think we
expensive.
discussed too. I don't think they need to make them any higher.
No, probably not, because we'd be in trouble. And it's crazy because my friends always used to make fun of me because I bounced around from drinks for a while. And yeah, you put me on to high noons back in the day, because I remember, I think we were going to a party, and yeah, you got high noons and I never had them before, and you're like, yo, you'll have these and you'll never buy anything else. Like, that's crazy. No, there's no way. I think since then, dude, I've dropped everything and just stuck to high noons.
Have I ever lied to you?
No, except during the summer. So like right about now, there's some drinks that I rotate between.
So. Yeah, but I still never lied to you, right?
No.
Oh, we kind of just like threw that in there, like you're like, you did lie to me in the summer.
No, I still drink high noons, but and another after last year, like last summer, I was big on pina coladas.
Yeah, I feel like you didn't have a choice, but it's hard to get like a legit pina colada, like the things that like you need to make like a legit pina colada, and then you're in Mexico just watching them pour shit in a blender. Right. You're like, this is fire.
Right.
It's not the same.
Yeah, my buddy makes a good one, but yeah, Francisco was the man at it.
I also feel like no matter how strong a drink in Mexico is, it's just like the fact that you're there, you don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I think that definitely plays a part. I think situational drinking is a huge thing. Like, if you're in a good spot and you're having a great time and there's potential for an even better time, you don't really discriminate when it comes to alcohol.
True. Yeah.
As opposed to like if you're just sitting at the house and you just see a bottle of tequila, you're like, I don't know if I can go just take a couple shots. But if you're like, what tonight has to offer and all that, you're like, I'll take a couple swigs.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird, like, true point. Like when you know you're about to go out and you're like, man, I just got to get a drink in me right now. Mm-hmm. You don't really care what it is. That's true.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
It just like you kind of remember like when you're younger too. Like you would pass around any type of shit with that charcoal filtered vodka.
Oh yeah.
I remember when Dollar General had 3-liter sodas, and we would get a 3-liter of grape pop, and we would just take the Nikolai, the $11 gallon of charcoal filtered vodka, we just like, and then hit that. Them hangovers and puke sessions were a whole different ball game.
Yeah, that was drinking for a purpose.
Yeah, I feel like now it's drinking for a purpose too.
More now than
More
ever,
of a
probably.
destination than a purpose, I
Yeah.
guess. But I
I
mean,
went straight to beer. Yeah, the first thing that I started drinking. I mean, I remember like being a kid and having like my dad would let me try a beer, but I remember vividly, man. Irish Festival in Cass Park. It
yeah,
was that weekend in my senior year of high school. Hopefully, no cops are watching this, but Coors Light. Yeah, I started drinking Coors Light. I was at like a little party at my friend's house, and they had Coors Light. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go for it, man. It's over. I was
yeah,
straight edge because I wasn't. I was like, dude, I'm not doing drugs. I'm not drinking. I'm not
yeah.
doing none of it. I was like, I don't know.
That's funny because that's exactly how I am. I mean, I still am, I guess. I've never done a drug a day in my
Me
life.
neither.
Never smoked a cigarette. Only thing I've ever done is drink. Like
Yeah.
even breaking my leg, I got 500 Percocets for 2 years and I never took one of them.
Wow.
I sold them bitches.
Oof. Hopefully the same cops aren't watching.
Yeah, right. But
Oh.
I enjoy like that. I enjoy, like definitely. Don't get me wrong. Like you understand where like drugs come into play. Like
Yeah.
because me and you. I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna speak for you, but the things that alcohol does for me. Like I can only imagine like if that's not good enough, like the route people go. Like, well, I need more. I need more, or like an escape kind of thing. So I can definitely see it. But luckily and thankfully, I've never dabbled down that avenue.
Yeah, me neither.
I think it's just because the way I grew up, like my parents, my brother, and just being around such like a toxic and like negative environment. Like my goal was like the quickest I can get the fuck away from this, the quicker I can just do something for myself, and that's one thing I always stick by. Like when I was 17 years old, I remember like my goal was just to be as independent as I can, even if it meant like struggling just to get out of that space where like that type of shit's going on. And I just remember like having a job where I worked probably like 15 to 20 hours a week and like buying a phone for $700 and having to pay my bill and knowing that I'm only working to pay my phone bill. But it's like,
Pizzeria.
but it's like, that's one step to just climb the ladder to just be independent and just try to get away from that. And I think that's one reason why I've never ever dabbled into any type of drugs.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with a lot of that too. I always felt kind of the same way. Like even before, I don't even know what it was that really put me on to drinking. Like I just started doing it, but I always wanted to be like different. I think that's the reason why I never got into it.
For sure.
And coming from, I mean, we're from the same community, and I mean, I love South Buffalo, but there is a lot of it in our community, and I was like, I just don't want to do that. But I enjoy drinking, and I've definitely overdone it a few times in my life, more than a few. But yeah, same thing that like you were saying. Like another reason why I don't get into drugs. I mean, I would just never do a drug for moral reasons or whatever. But um, yeah, I think that I would get addicted. Because
Yeah.
I think not that I'm addicted to drinking, because I'm not. I just
It's
gave
like
up
addictive
drinking.
personalities.
Yeah,
That's just kind of like how that becomes a slippery slope for a lot of people, I feel.
yeah, for
Another
sure.
reason too, like that I've never done drugs. I don't even know if anybody knows this. But like when I was younger, I had a friend who passed away. His name was Jarrett. And, I just got to know this kid and he lived right up the street from me. We'd always come and skateboard and stuff. And I don't know, I was always a passionate kid and I always felt like every time I had like a friend, I wanted to make them like a special friend. So I just remember like kind of making a pact, like, hey dude, like I'm never gonna do a drug in my life. And then he ended up passing away probably 2 months after I had said that. Not saying like that's like the reason I don't, but it definitely like helps me like to be like I'm still holding that promise I made to him.
Yeah,
So that's one thing I hold really really tight to me in that avenue. But still, I think regardless, I don't think that I would do that anyway.
yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I mean, drugs are. I don't know. I don't really know much
Some
about
people
them.
need them. Some people need them. I'm not gonna sit here and try to act like I'm better than everybody else because I don't do drugs. Because you know, we all have been down very very different roads and have different coping methods, and a lot of times it helps people. Like even with people smoking cigarettes, like sure it's disgusting, but it's like people were so young and they did that and they don't even know any better, and now they can't even live without it. And it's just based off decisions you make, but you see it making people happy, especially weed, because I think weed's such a different dynamic than when we were growing up. Now
True.
it's like
Yeah.
such a different thing. So it's like, I don't judge. I don't enjoy being around it. I don't enjoy being around it at all. But I'm not gonna judge somebody based off their preference or whatever, because we're all human. And at this point in life, everybody's so different now anyway. That's just like, but you have your select group of friends. It's funny, like our group of friends, I feel like nobody smokes weed or anything like that. So it's kind of funny how that just like, yeah, that also has nothing to do with it. But it's just funny how like, you attract kind of the same kind. And that's just a good staple to that whole philosophy.
Yeah, I think all the we'll call them gatherings that we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been drugs there.
Yeah.
Ever drinking for sure. And even still, like we always manage to do a good job at keeping it under control.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I think when we hang out too, and we have people, well, the people come and there's like usually something going on. So like there's a UFC event or something. I think that kind of calms us down too.
Yeah.
So, but you're right, man. Like I don't think I'm better than anyone because I don't do drugs. Yeah, I have my own struggles. You know. But yeah, if you need them, like if they help you, definitely, definitely, I'm all for it.
Depending on which ones, because some of them don't have a valid excuse for, but to each its own. So
right.
Are we gonna send these fucking things and let's get this going?
All right.
You want a shot it, or are you just gonna drink it?
I'm just gonna drink this one. It's pretty full. I'm not good at shotgun. And event for those, what was that? That was crazy.
I'm good at it.
Yeah.
It's a weird talent. I only have a few.
Yeah, who was it? Luke Holmes. He could do it with like his teeth. Yeah, that's
I
disgusting.
can too, but not as well as this, obviously.
That's crazy. Lee, this is for you.
That was probably the
Watery eyes.
best high noon I've ever had, to be honest.
I got the watery eyes.
But yeah, dude.
I love high noons, man.
Yeah, they are orgasmic, to say the least.
Whoever invented them. Who's the Barstool dude, right?
No, he just endorsed it.
I thought he owned them. Like owned high noons?
They just paid him the money.
Well, whoever it is, I love you.
But yeah, dude, it's so funny because, like, we talked about doing this podcast probably for what, maybe 2.5 weeks now?
I would say more, honestly. But, like, seriously, probably for, like 2.5 weeks.
Just like this specific episode.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, so much has happened over the last couple of days. Excuse me.
Cut that out.
But, like so many things have happened over the last couple of days, weeks, to say. And it's like everything that I've written down that I've discussed with you, like topics I want to talk and like where I'm at mentally, I'm in such a different place right now. It's insane, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to get into any type of detail, but like,
if you know, you know.
But like anxiety has been something that I've been battling so bad. Like I can't sleep at night. As soon as like I close my eyes, that's when everything happens. I just think about everything, which is weird because like I try to have the philosophy to control the controllables, but my mind doesn't allow me to. So I spend so much time and energy and thought on things that have nothing to necessarily even do with me that I can't necessarily control, but it just takes over my mind, and it's hard to explain. But like, just thinking about specific things on a daily basis, multiple times a day, and then all of a sudden those things fucking disappear. Like, dude, I'm telling you, dude, I feel like I'm on top of the world right now.
Hey, we had a good day today. It's
yeah,
been a pretty fun day. Man. Like, I think the older I get, I feel myself becoming more wise, especially like when I'm talking to younger people who usually don't listen anyways. But I'm throwing some advice in. I'm like, dang, man, I really am pretty wise. But what I've learned is like how much of a roller coaster life really is, and being at this age, we're getting older, 30s right around the corner for both of us. I've learned the importance of like having true peace in your life. And exactly, like, I think that you just made that point without even saying it, is like, you just go through so much stuff. It's like legit like a roller coaster. Like, you're just up and down, up and down, up and down. And you go through all that struggle and hard times, and then you finally get that peace. And that's where it sounds like you're at right now. Like, because, I know this story, and I know like what you've been going through, and like, to see where you're at now, it's like you just got through the dark parts of it, and now you figured it out, and here you are. It's life, man. Life is great. Life is great.
It is, man, and it's also what you make it to, because I'm not saying I've been one of those, but like, you have so many people who are in a situation and they just let that situation do what it needs to do. And that's when they just become in a rut. Like people would rather sit down and complain about how shitty life is and how bad things are instead of just doing something about it. People will spend so much time wasting in that place of like shit you can control necessarily. Like, don't get me wrong, some shit is very overwhelming, and I can tell you offhand it is very overwhelming. And you have a choice. You can either sit there, lay down, and let those things win and those people win and those thoughts win, or you can change it. Like, okay, like take a step out of that situation. Like, okay, this is what's going on. What can I do to change this? Instead of just sitting there like, damn, like this shit sucks, man. Like nobody loves me, and just beating yourself up about it and just kind of adding to the bullshit. And then you can also, in the same sense, just be like, okay, let me get the fuck out of here. I'm tired of feeling like this. Like, what do I got to do to not feel like this? And people run from that. I feel like not necessarily people enjoy being in them that like shitty place, but people also don't do anything to get out of it, and that's just such a slippery slope for people. And sometimes you just gotta, you know, roll with the punches.
Yeah, as a fighter and trainer, I understand what that means. But yeah, I'd definitely be lying if I said I've never gone through that, where I've felt nobody cares about me, and life is unfair and all this stuff. Why is this happening to me? And you're right on the money with it. Like, you need to step back and be like, all right, well, I'm the problem. I think a lot of people don't want to admit that they're the problem. And once you realize that and you see like, okay, well, maybe we'll say it's a financial thing. You're like, all right, I don't have money. Like, I'm broke. It's like, okay, well, you're choosing to stay at a job that's not either paying you enough or giving you enough hours. And like, maybe you like that job. Like, I was in that situation and like, I really liked the job. I was like, eventually got to the point where like, I need to do something. I left a job I liked, and I mean, I don't mind my job right now, but making way more money.
Yeah.
And like that door's closed.
It's funny too. I also like one thing I can't stand. There's also two things I can't stand. One I'm gonna say, which is completely irrelevant to this, but since we're on the topic, but it's like also like people who say money doesn't buy happiness. Like I understand the context of it, but like from my perspective, the more money I have, the more of a good time I can have, the more fun I can have, the more flexibility I can have. So like that quote is fucking wild to me. And another one that I can't stand is people who say you can't have your cake and eat it too. Because who the fuck are you?
I don't know what that means.
It's just like, okay, it's like you have what you have, but you want more.
Oh.
But it's like, oh, well, you can't have both. Like, says who?
Yeah.
Like, like you gotta be in charge of your life in every aspect, and anything you want in life you can get. You just have to want it. So it's like when people say you can't have your cake and eat it too, like, yes I can, because I'm gonna make that decision. I'm gonna make my life that way. A lot of people don't like it, but it's your life, not theirs.
You're exactly right. And I think that I have the blessing of knowing a lot of really successful people, to the point of like, I have a friend who has 2 Super Bowl rings. So it's hard to ever sit there and think like, we went to the same high school. So it's hard to think like these things are impossible. Like, nothing's impossible. It's, if you want to achieve something, like, it really is up to you to go out and do it. And it takes sacrifice. It takes dedication. It's a ton of hard work. But I mean, I've been able to do great things in my life. Like, I spent a portion of my life, which I'm super grateful for, playing music for a living. And that was, a big dream of mine, and I got to do it. And I learned a lot through that. And it was hard. It was super hard. It took a lot of sacrifice, a lot of dedication, giving up weekends and not necessarily making top dollar at first, and being exhausted and going to rehearsals during the week and not being able to see your friends and family, missing parties. Like, I can go through the whole thing. And now, I'm a man of faith, so I believe that I was called in a different direction for the time being. And I'm still waiting on that opportunity, so I guess maybe I could have went a little longer. But yeah, you just keep moving and you can do it, and I don't see what, stopping anybody from doing it. So, if you have a dream, I would just say follow it. And I would also, like, the advice that I would give like I do understand like what you were saying about money, but like I don't think money could be the goal always. Unless like you need like I need $500 to pay this. $500 is your goal, but like I never wanted to be a pro musician to make $1 million. I did it because I loved playing. So, I would say some advice would be maybe don't make that your biggest priority, but it'll come.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, especially if you understand that.
Yeah.
Like that's actually a perfect example because I literally just looked at my phone and I'd like to say everything happens for a reason. So, I'd say probably 3 or 4 days ago, Pagula Sports Entertainment put out that they were hiring for a photographer. And at this point, I'm 0-5 as far as working with the Bills. So I've never worked for the Bills. I mean, I know I've discussed that in other podcasts, but if you're new to here, I've never worked for the Bills, never have, and never will. So, a job opening came, and I was tagged in by hundreds of people. Gabe Davis reached out to me, John Miller, Poyer, and just
shout out John Miller.
And just everybody was just like kind of, try. And like I kind of gave up. I was just kind of how many times are you going to say no? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, something just kind of came over me to where, all these people are just like kind of looking out for my best interest. Not necessarily my best interest, but they would just love to see that connection finally happen. So I just said, screw it. I filled out, the application, filled out the resume, did a portfolio, everything. So I just got an email. And here's the email. Dear Joseph, thank you for taking time to apply to the photographer role with Pagula Sports and Entertainment LLC. We are fortunate to have many exceptional candidates apply to this opportunity, and only a few are invited in for an interview with the team. Unfortunately, while your credentials and skills are outstanding, the hiring team has decided not to move forward with your application at this time. And then they sent me a link for other opportunities. But with that being said, also, if I were to, go to this next step in this job, if they did want to bring me into an interview, after probably 2 days of evaluating it, I would have shut it down. Because, I've chased this dream for so long, and you get to a point where some things just aren't meant to be, it's like where you're starting to force things. And one thing that I spoke to somebody who no longer works with the team about this situation is he said the worst thing I could possibly do would be go work for the Bills, because all that would mean is they'd be able to limit me, so I wouldn't be who I am today, and that meant a lot to me. So like on the outside looking in, like the people who follow me, the people who support me, the reason that they're here is because of the content I bring. It's me busting my ass to make a specific amount of money to be able to afford a flight down to wherever I'm going to create this visual that you're only seeing from me. And people enjoy that, and that's why people are still around. I've been doing this for probably going on 6 years now, and my following has gotten higher, and the love and respect I get from my community is just climbing, and it's like that's who I am. That's not who I wanted to be, but that's who I am, and I love it. And it's like I would not want to take that away from anybody who supported me, because that's who I am. That's what I've become, just chasing this dream. I've created my own dream, and I'm living it, and I'm so thankful for it. And I greatly would appreciate the Bills for showing me love as long as they have. But I'm closing that door. I'm not chasing it. Like I can honestly say that dream has destroyed me. And honestly, today's probably the day I can finally like admit that I'm closing that door. Not saying it can't reopen, but just there's so much behind the scenes that I would want to happen in order for me to still maintain this vision that I have, and just show the world things that you're not necessarily seeing on a day to day, which is everything to me. So
yeah. Well, for one, I mean, I've been around for all 6 years of your journey, and I could tell you like you have created some miracles for sure to accomplish the things that you have. Yeah, I mean, I think that's their loss for sure. I mean, they obviously, nobody else is really doing what you're doing, and you're pretty much going out and doing what their photographers would do without being on their staff. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Plus, being your own boss is like the best possible thing that you can do. But for sure, man, I think it's a great thing, following your dreams. You've been an inspiration for me to follow my dreams, just watching you do it. And like, I know that there's a lot of struggles. I've seen a lot of them through that and through other people too who have their own businesses and do their own thing. And I mean, I'm grateful to be a part of it. I'm grateful to be your friend and see the things that have happened. And I've gotten to do cool stuff with you too. I've been on the Bills field. I took a picture of Josh Allen. I consider him a friend now. Harry Phillips too. But
Who will be on the podcast in a month.
A month. Awesome. Yeah, good dude. I bet. I mean, I don't really know him that well, but yeah, I remember taking a picture of you and him on the field. He was like, "Yo, it's a great picture. He can do it."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I remember, hopefully, I don't get in trouble for this, but we were making our rounds talking to players. I mean, this was back in like 2018. Like,
right there.
Yeah. Yep. And I remember, yeah, because it was the scrimmage.
Yeah, that's the guy that kicked us out right there. See him next to Marlon and Shaq?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I remember Josh Allen was signing autographs behind like the field goal post. And I forgot what he said, but maybe how did you get on the field? And then I remember you saying like, yeah, I told him that you said it was okay.
Yeah, just fucking with him, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think about where everything happened and how everything happened and just the process of it. It's just such a funny journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I feel like at some point in your journey, you have to understand that it's no longer a thing. But I can also say the person I am now compared to when I started that chase, it's so different. And I definitely would say matured, because that's why, like, if you knew me from the beginning, you understand how I came up, and you understand, well, you might not understand why I don't necessarily do that anymore, but I guess, when from the outside looking in, I guess you'll understand. But, I feel like that has taught me so much more than I feel like anything, especially just the denial. Like, like I had somebody tell me I wasn't good enough. Like, that was one thing that definitely struck a fuel for me, because I always felt like I was very well rounded, and I was doing everything that I needed to do. And then for somebody to tell me that that wasn't the case, it was like, what more can I fucking do?
Right.
But also, like, being humble about it, because the gentleman who told me that was somebody who was in my position, or the position I wanted to be in. So it's like damn, okay, like maybe I don't have it all, and it definitely pushed me a lot, because it was more of like, let's do some things that don't necessarily make you comfortable. Like, let's do things we don't do. Let's see how can we be tested in like the elements, or tested in circumstances where you don't necessarily have the answers. Like, how are you going to adapt? And I feel like I needed those things to kind of, just keep adding to the portfolio and resume. And I'd say I've done pretty well. And, the avenue that I've gone down as far as my career, because this is my career. It's been my career for probably 5 years now. I mean, I probably dove in a little too early, but, I bet everything on myself. And, like, I can literally say, like, I forced myself into a full-time job doing photography. And honestly, until probably, I'd say, last year, towards the end of the year, it's actually became like a reasonable thing to say, because like the money was never there, the opportunity was never there, the work was never there, and I just been chasing. Like, damn, like, sure, like I'll go a whole month without a photo shoot. I'll go a whole month without making $1. But I'm still chasing. I'm still gonna chase. Like, oh, like, this is gonna be one of those things I can't wait to speak about when I make it, And it's just like, just chasing and chasing and chasing. And honestly, it's so weird. Like probably the past 2 months have been so good to me, like mentally for sure, but like with my job, it's been fucking incredible. Like, to where like I was to the point where I was done with it all. Like photography wasn't doing it. Like literally to the point, bro. Like, if I were to go to McDonald's and get a full-time job, I'd probably make twice as much money as I was making trying to chase my dream. Like, and it took 6 years for me to realize, like, the dream may be fucking dead. Like, I have a wonderful studio. Like, this space is fucking incredible. We hang out here more than we've ever hung out anywhere ever.
Mm-hmm.
We have parties in here. We have fucking fights in here. It's not
We
literally
watch
about watch
fights.
fights. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a story for podcast after dark. But, like, to think about what this place is even for me mentally. Like, this is my space. Like, I've never had my space before. And, like, to where I was like, dude, like, I think it's over. Like, like it's time to just, like, grow up. Like, because I'm having fun. Like, I'm honestly, like, I'm not saying I'm living my dream, because, like, there's so many things I need to figure out still. But, like, just being able to enjoy my life in the way that I've been is such a blessing. And to feel like I'm at the point, or was at the point, to where it's like, it's time to find something else and get a full-time job and get a boss and just, grow up in a sense, and I don't know. I mean, I think, like I said before, everything happens for a reason, and I just feel like those dark fucking times make you who you are, and then doing what you need to do to get out of them, it's just character builders. And I'm just building this fucking character, man.
Yeah, amen to that. Yeah, the dark times, I don't know. I kind of enjoy them sometimes.
I do for sure. And it's, like, one thing I tell people all the time is, like, the worst thing you can do in life is ever be comfortable.
I agree, 100%.
Like, and that's one thing
key.
I always preached, especially, like, from being a personal trainer. My goal from a personal trainer standpoint is, like, being comfortable is what kills people. Because I say this all the time. Like, 95% of your clientele as a personal trainer, the people who are going to come to you, they don't want to just lose weight or get stronger or get bigger and better shape. They're going through something. They're like, a lot of times it's relationship stuff, and the first thing they always tell you is like, yeah, man, I used to be 170 with abs before I got in this relationship, and now I'm 230, and I'm just trying to figure out where to start. And that's always how it goes. And, the thing is that happens with relationships is they get comfortable. You steer away from who you are and what made you you, and you kind of just get complacent and comfortable, and then you start kind of bullshit. You start cheating yourself. You start not staying true to yourself, and that's when you start going this other direction. Then all of a sudden you're in a point where shit does not work out for you, and then you're stuck looking in the mirror like, who the fuck is this guy? I don't even know him anymore, because you got comfortable. Like, if the biggest thing that you can do in life is stay true to yourself, no matter what situation comes your way. As long as you're who you need to be for yourself, anything that comes with any type of thing secondary, you're always going to be you, like, and that's one thing. Like, you can look at life however you want, and not necessarily from a personal training standpoint, but like being uncomfortable, like in my position, like, okay, sure, I don't have a lot of money. I mean, everybody thinks I'm fucking rich because my friends are athletes, but whatever that means to you guys, I don't know what to tell you. But, like, like, you've seen it too. Like, we can sit here right now, and I can show you my bank account, right? And
it's actually crazy. I just want to comment real quick, because I've been a part of being able to have, like, dinner and hang out with some of the guys. It's like, it's crazy how many times you're like, man, I got this amount of dollars, like, I gotta chill out and be cool here.
Yeah. You guys got chicken fingers?
Yeah. I just get a side of fries. I'm not that hungry.
Like, because you've seen this situation, for example. Like, okay, let's say, what's today?
Friday the 12th?
May. So, like, okay, my birthday's June 28th. If I'm like, okay, let's go on a vacation in June. Okay, we're both at square one. Okay. You work, you have a different set of circumstances. So, like, any type of income that's coming, as long as you go to work, it's coming.
Right.
Work's there. Work exists. So, in my perspective, work's not there. Work only exists if I make it exist. So it's like, okay, let's say the trip's $3K. Okay. Let's even go shorter. Let's say we wanted to go June 1st, which is in 3 weeks. Okay. I have to make $3,000 in 3 weeks to make this trip happen. I'm going to do it. I always have. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the grind and the hustle. Like, I enjoy, like, not necessarily like I enjoy being broke, because nobody does. But, like, being uncomfortable, like being comfortable to where you're like, I'll do it Monday.
Yeah.
To where like, damn, like I don't have a fucking choice but to do it now, or anything that I want in my life isn't gonna work. So it's like I call it walking on eggshells. Like, like a lot of people probably hate it, probably think the opposite. Like, I'd love to just, have money and just be able to be comfortable and just know that this is this way and this is that way. But like, you see it time and time again. And the older we get, the more you see it. Like, fucking life's short because you never know when that shit's fucking over. And,
Right.
and I'll be damned if I'm sitting here, working a 9 to 5, putting money aside, just like wait until I'm fucking retired to enjoy it. Like, I want to enjoy it now.
Right.
Like, I've been on fucking so many vacations. I have so many stamps on my
Yeah, I'm
passport
jealous, man.
just because, like, that's the life I chose to live. And I can honestly tell you, too, I've never been able to afford it. But I've put myself in situations to where they're manageable and I can do them because it's like I almost got killed once when I was in Oakland with Lorenzo Alexander. Like, ever since then, like, not even saying that, like, that definitely changed me because I was supposed to go back down to Florida after that happened, and I ended up just going to Disney World with my daughter because, like, it was like one of those, like, you never know when your last time is. So it's like, ever since then, like, that's why I always preach be where your feet are. Because, like, if you're somewhere else and not where your feet are, you're never gonna get those moments back. Especially like the way life is now, you never know when that shit's over.
It's crazy, the craziest it's ever been.
Like,
I think.
and you just have to enjoy it now while you can, and that's what I'll always believe. Because you have the other people, like I said before, who just wanna, set a foundation and just make sure their bills are paid and stuff. It's like, I want to live my fucking life.
I'm with you, man.
I don't care about none of that. My daughter's always gonna be good. I'm always gonna be good. I'm just gonna fucking live life. We're gonna live life. Like, my daughter, she's been to Disney World 9 times. She just turned fucking
I actually
8.
thought it was more than that, so I'm a little disappointed.
Well, we actually went to Florida twice and she didn't get to go. So,
Oh, okay.
but still,
You
like,
went 9 times. That's more than me.
you know what I'm saying?
I
It's
think I
like
have like 3 or 4.
like my kid has lived a life
Shout out to
that
Mel.
that people's kids will never, ever, ever do. And that's because I make it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a me effort as well. Her mother does a phenomenal job of doing those things as well. But it's like, my kid's living the life that she doesn't even understand yet,
It's like normal to her now.
Dude, you want to know the
yeah.
funniest thing? Like, not this is relevant, but she always swears because she knows who I am and like what I do. But she always calls me famous, and I laugh about it all the time because like people like ask me for pictures and stuff sometimes when we're out.
And I've seen it.
And
I've seen this happen.
she's like, so she always tells me that she's famous. She's like, she's telling her friends in school, she's like, yeah, I'm famous. My dad's blah blah blah.
Oh,
So I think it's so adorable. So at the Micah Hyde softball game, she had people come up to her and like ask her like if she was my kid and stuff.
yeah, right. Really?
I swear to God,
Oh.
she thought she was on
She
cloud
made it.
nine.
She made
She was
it.
like, Dad, I'm famous. People came up to me at the softball game.
Yeah, good for her.
But it's just like, like creating your own legacy. Shout out to Daquan on that one because that's his thing. But that's a good pinpoint on the mentality. It's like, you have nothing but everything in time. Well, not necessarily time because we just talked about that being short. But like, you can create whatever you want. People wait for things to happen instead of making them happen. I guess that's a good over-round circle on everything we discussed. Is whether there's anything we just talked about, the drugs, like all that shit, like you can be whoever you want to be. You just got to want to be it bad enough to do it.
Dude, I loved all that. I'm just going to go back real quick to when we were talking about being comfortable.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk about passion and stuff like that because I know a lot about that. One of the reasons why I think I love doing martial arts so much, it's not like to be tough or a lot of people get into that like macho stuff, but I've always took their teachings and like adapted it to life. And when you were talking about like being uncomfortable, it kind of reminded me of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a little bit, or even like wrestling, Muay Thai, MMA, whatever it may be. Sometimes you're just in like a position and you're losing. Someone's on top of you. And in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we learn how to get out of that position and to then be winning and have the momentum. So that's like one of the reasons why I love that sport so much and love doing martial arts. Because even in Muay Thai, like you just learn how to get out of situations that when you're losing and to come up and be able to win. But on that note too, also just talking about being where your feet are and stuff like that. There's been so many times in my life, both I want to say I struggle with like mental health, but I've definitely had a lot of depression. A lot of it comes from I think just getting hit hard at a young age by life and just pushing forward, going through a lot of things that people my age weren't going through. But I've had so many opportunities in my life where I just stopped for a second, even being on stage, headlining festivals, country festivals, and traveling and all this stuff, and just being in a position where I stop and like, first off, I'm really like living my dream, and I made it happen. Glory to God as well. All glory to God. But like I worked really hard and I stuck with it. And same thing, man. How many times have I had $1 for every time someone told me like music's not a career? Like no, I'd probably have like $20. I'd be able to get a case of high noons. But that was a joke. It was a lot of people though. But
I mean, high noons are expensive.
they're very expensive, especially at the bar.
It might even be worth it. Tell me no. Fuck it. The win is a win for me.
Yeah. But how many times people, music's not a career, you're not going to do it. You'll get older, you'll work a job, you could do it on the weekends, this and that. But dude, I was doing it, man. And like the opportunities playing, headlining, or not headlining, but opening for like legit Nashville country stars and like pop punk bands. I've gotten to open for Bam Margera from Jackass. I've gotten to open for the Ataris, Jason Michael Carroll. I've gotten to open for Jason Lancaster. Like I've been able to play with all these great musicians and be all around and play casinos and be in green rooms and getting VIP treatment and free drinks. It's amazing. And just to embrace it all and be grateful at the end of the day. And that's why I kind of want to go back like and say I like being in the struggle, because that's where when you do have those moments where you're like, this is legit what life is all about. You look back and you're like, wow, like all that was so worth it because I'm here right now. And it's amazing. This is a feeling that's indescribable, and kind of the same thing like you were saying. I've also feel like I've done a lot of things that people will not get to experience in their life. And a lot of it comes from, hanging out with you, a lot of the things I've gotten to do with you, but just music and, I just know so many different people who all, I think like being around me and stuff, and I've gotten to experience so much cool stuff in life. And, I have days, just to be honest, where like, I don't even want to continue, I want to give up. Even like one of the hardest possible things when you're a person who I call a dreamer, like when you're a dreamer, having a day job is like soul crushing. It's really soul crushing. And even though like I do make good money, I'll hear a song on the radio that like one of the cover bands I used to play in would play, and it just kills me. It kills me. But I think a big thing too is patience. Like I know, like yeah, you do always have to work and you're always building, but like there's also like sometimes you do have to be patient and like knowing that things are gonna work out and the time's gonna come and your time's gonna come, but you gotta keep building to be ready for that time. I think that's where I'm at right now. I've had to make a lot of tough decisions in the the last few months or so that really kind of rerouted my life. Like I have a lot of friends in Nashville that want me to go down there and play, and I think that I would have a successful career probably being in Luke Combs' band in like a week. I'm just kidding. Jake Summers is the man. But right now I'm really being called to join the fire department, and I'm waiting on that. And if that don't work out, like first flight to Nashville, I'll be going down there and bringing back music. But man, I'm so grateful for everything that I've gotten to do as well.
Yeah, I feel like one thing that's important to understand is there's so many lessons in the struggle. Like, sure, you got to deal with like, the depression, the emotion, and those things that all come with it. But like the lessons that come from it, I feel like people take for granted. Like every time I'm struggling, which unfortunately is all the fucking time, it's just like, okay, let me find the bad in this, but like let me find the good. Like how can I learn from this? How can I be better? But most importantly, like how can I be better for everybody else? That's one thing that's huge for me. Like is what can I relate, or I guess relate from my struggle to somebody else in their situation. Like that's why like I always talk about it too. Is like I'm I'm down to be vulnerable as much as I have to be just for someone to find any type of relation in my situation to theirs to help them with theirs. You know, because I talked about I don't know my last well not the last podcast, but you know like when I talked about mental health and you know how I almost committed suicide in August, and it's just like sure I don't want to talk about that, and I don't necessarily have to because it's not anybody's business, but you know like knowing there's people out there who are just like me, you know the tough guy, like the you know let me just put my chest out and take it on the chin, like tomorrow's another day, but sometimes tomorrow's not another option for a lot of people, and it wasn't for me. And it's like, if I can explain my story and explain like what happened after that and how much better I felt and this and that, like to just kind of flip that switch for somebody, like, you know, like I always say, like, if I can reach anybody, that's my goal. And I had a few people reach out to me and it meant the world to me. It's just like, and it's like the one thing I'm noticing too is the people who watch my podcast are first off people I don't know and people I would never expect to. And it's just like that's so important to me because like you know I feel like thing with about the podcast too is like a lot of people don't have time to watch it. People have time to listen to podcasts. They don't have time to watch it. So a lot of people aren't pulling up YouTube and just staring at a TV watching me talk because a lot of people don't have that time in a day, and I completely understand it. But it's like the people that do, that means the world to me because you know they don't know me, I don't know them, and they're taking their time out of the day to listen to me because I have something along the line to offer them, whether it's mental health struggles or coping skills and maybe even a laugh, you know, like that's you know, that's all I'm here for is to just take people away from like the bullshit, you know, and also give them guidance to get out of the bullshit, you know, like in like you know my sense of humor and all that type of shit, but it's just like, you know, you fucking see me struggle, bro. Like
Yeah.
you know the shit that I go through on a daily basis, but I can still sit here and be fucking funny and just like hide that for people just so they don't have to deal with what they're doing. Like I can give them a little break, you know, but also in the same sense like be real about it. Like okay, my life is not as perfect as it looks. You know, my life's not blue skies and rainbows like you know, shit fucking sucks, but it's
Yeah.
like you know everybody has those times, but it's like if I can show you my time and my life and not necessarily have to explain why it sucks but just explain that it does and what I need to do to get the fuck away from it to help you, that's all I care about.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna say too, like, you know, I love podcasts and I love talking. But I also think, man, that like people, like, I always say, like, you live and learn. You know, you don't learn then live. So, giving guidance of just going through life and experiences, like people like yourself, people like me, who you know, the reality of like what we go through, I think we make life difficult because it's kind of like I was saying how working a 9 to 5 is like soul crushing. Like imagine, and I don't mean to trash anyone. Like if you live this way, like I'm truly happy for you. But like you just work Monday through Friday, you got your weekends to hang out, and you're happy. Like God bless you for that. But
It's American dream.
yeah. But there's something for me that I've always wanted to aspire to be great, and that's the reason why me and you are even friends. Really, you know, I've always wanted to be better, you know, and grow. Because like kind of like we were talking about, like being content and stuff like that, and being comfortable. Like never was my thing. Never. I've definitely like, and I've learned that when I am comfortable, when I'm living just a comfortable life, I'm not doing something, I'm not getting better. I'm just not happy.
Yeah.
And being a musician, you know, I'm taking some time off from being on stage, but I'm always writing songs. I'm learning new instruments. You know, still networking. I get asked to be in a band constantly. Like I was just asked to go on a tour. You know, I turned it down, and um, you know, but I'm always looking to improve myself. And right now, one of the biggest things that I've been working on is fit, like trying to get fit and health. And you know, I do martial arts at Buffalo United Martial Arts Academy. Shout out. And if I'm not doing that, man, I just don't feel good mentally. Um, so yeah, doing what makes you happy and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I definitely feel a calling to be some kind of great. I don't even know what it is, what it means really, but being on the grind, my own grind, and we that's the cool thing about our friendship too is like we both just kind of live life and struggle in different ways, and then just come together and hang out, and like it's all good, and we could talk. And that's why I mean this is my third time on your podcast, but fourth that me and you have done a podcast, right? 1, 2, yeah.
You throwing Saturday in there? Is that
Yeah,
why?
yeah.
Okay.
So fourth time doing a podcast, and they just keep getting better and better. And I think that we have a lot in common. And you have your own journey, I have my own journey, but there's a lot of the similar struggles. And right now, I just unfortunately had to take some time to make a little bit of money and be patient. But yeah, I definitely I'm gonna keep going, and I know that great things are coming along the way too. I'm excited for it all.
Yeah, man. And I think one thing too that I enjoyed podcasting is like at first, like I love this shit now. I really do because I feel like I can connect people with people in a sense that you don't necessarily get to do on a daily basis. But like just being able to talk is such a fucking valuable thing to me. Like even when I was on like other people's podcasts, it was like going to therapy for me because like like it was finally like a place where I can honestly answer the question for real when somebody says, "How are you doing?" Like I can actually like explain that I'm
terrible,
that I'm not necessarily doing that great.
Yeah.
Or if I am, I can explain it to you and talk about it like cuz you know me, I just keep a lot of shit to myself, and I'm sure a lot of people do. But like just being able to talk, even if it's just this, it's so dope to me.
Yeah.
And I just enjoy it so much. And like just being real, and I feel like a lot of people know me as just, this guy who takes pictures of Bills players and whatever. Like nobody knows who I am because I don't express that a lot. And this is a whole different avenue. And I can definitely even see like people fuck with it and some people don't, which is fine because at the end of the day, it's me being me. I don't need you to like that,
Right.
So that's one thing I enjoy about it.
Yeah, I always consider conversation and form of art for sure. I listen to a lot of podcasts and I love them to death. Like they changed my life. I love being a part of it, and it's amazing being able to sit down and talk and work through life, man. It's really what it is at the end of the day, just getting through life.
Yeah, I feel like, like this, this type of podcast is overdue. I feel like we should do this maybe once every 2 weeks, like just like a check-in kind of thing,
Yeah,
because like all my podcasts are just about whoever's sitting next to me, and sometimes just talking about like real shit and like life and where we're at and things like that and things going on. It's a lot more self-beneficial, especially mentally.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I'm definitely down for that. We need to get Josh Allen on here.
Yeah, I'll call him after this.
He's the GOAT.
But ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to actually send a high noon before we peace out of here, but I'll hit you with my outro because I'm going to push this mic away. But thank you so much for watching. Shane, thanks so much for pulling up.
Love it.
I'm going to need you to like, subscribe. You can share too. But peace. Shotgun time.
This was pretty full, so I'm going to struggle. Oh, man, it's like really full. Why does it sound like that?
It's just a lot of pressure.
Science. Cheers to the boys.
I can't take no